out there in the world beyond the U.S. I'm interested in how you read the politics of trade from a business standpoint. Do you accept that they're looking pretty difficult?
Well, there are challenges there. I mean, those of us who are been working in the United States, particularly, had to do a lot of work last year to get the Congress to approve Trade Promotion Authority, and obviously there are still questions of when we'll be able to move forward on TPP this year. So yeah, it is challenging. I think you mentioned the presidential candidates have not helped the environment here, but I wanted to mention on that one that our CEO did a blog about a month ago just trying to push back on that, because I think that we just have to continue to some extent to try to get the message out, which a lot of the large coalition of business have been trying to do, trying to highlight the benefits of trade. I just think it doesn't resonate easily. It doesn't fit into a tweet very easily. But I like to point to the work that OECD has done in this area. I mean, Ken's group led a study. It's a few years old now on trade and jobs, but it was I thought particularly significant because it was a group, 11 international organizations, including ILO. That did a study of 14, they kind of reviewed 14 econometric studies that covering 15 years of studies that have gone out and concluded that trade, with the complementary policies that Ken has mentioned, is beneficial. I mean, it just is really most of the evidence, and Ken is going to be better than me at remembering some of the specifics, but I mean, it was clear that there was no evidence that trade restrictions actually benefited any countries in the long term. That kind of conclusions, based on all these different studies that were done in this area. So it is a challenge of how do we, as Mr. Greer was saying, how do we get this out to that person that has lost his job? I mean, that's the challenge there. But I don't know that closing off markets is going to be a solution. I mean, I know that's not a very satisfactory answer to someone in that situation, but we do want to, need to work with that. And the policies that that we've been talking about, we probably could do better in some of those areas in terms of how do we help with adjustment in those areas, and that's what the BF recommendation we're talking about. We really need to do better with lifelong learning, with programs of adjustment, with and that's not, it's interesting as Ken was talking about it, some of these are areas that business has been talking about for many years, but calling it competitiveness here. I mean, the things that business needs, skilled labor and infrastructure and investment policies that are positive, are things that are really consistent with, I think, some of the inclusiveness arguments, but are also essential to trade. So we continue to try to figure out how do we get this message across effectively.